ago, along with Judson Mills, I distinguished between two types of relationships. And more recently, I've emphasized a quantitative dimension of one of them. So the two types of relationships we talked about were exchange relationships and communal relationships. In exchange relationships, you don't feel any special responsibility for the other person's needs. You do exchange benefits, but you give benefits to the other person with the expectation of receiving something in return. And when you accept a benefit, you expect to repay the other person. You have no special responsibility for their needs. On the other hand, in communal relationships, you do feel a special responsibility for partners. Communal relationships are often exemplified by friendships, parent-child relationships, romantic relationships. In these relationships, you give benefits to support the other person's welfare, to promote the other person's welfare, and you do it non-contingently. Now, an important point about communal relationships is that there is a quantitative dimension to them. We don't assume an equal degree of responsibility for all our communal partners' needs. And I'm going to show that on the next slide. What I have here, actually I'm going to switch perspectives a little bit. And I want you to consider the responsibility that others assume for our welfare first. So what I have here is something called communal strength. And this is communal strength in terms of what we expect from a partner. We don't expect much from an infant. An infant has very little ability, no ability really, to take care of our needs. And so we don't expect much communal behavior from an infant. We actually expect a little bit more from an adult stranger who has some capability. And a stranger could give us directions or tell us the time. And we expect most strangers will do that. We assume more responsibility for a friend. We assume responsibility for ourselves. And we may assume a great deal of responsibility for a romantic partner. I don't want to suggest that everybody orders relationships in this way. This is just one person's set of relationships and the way one person might order them. The point is more that we do order our relationships in terms of how much responsiveness we expect from the other person. So over on the y-axis, I have your perception of the other person's care. So you could draw a line through this figure that depicts how much you expect the other person to care for your needs. You don't expect an infant to care much. You expect your romantic partner to care a lot. So beneath the line, we expect care from the other person. And above the line, we do not expect care. So I haven't talked about emotions yet. What does all this have to do with emotions? Well, I think below the line, they're supposed to provide care, and our emotions suggest what they need to do. Above the line, we don't expect care, and if we express our emotions, they might even exploit those. So I would say you should express emotions indicative of needs beneath the line. Not all emotions express needs. So things like fear, sadness, and happiness, you should express in this domain. And above the line, actually, you should suppress the emotion. You should suppress the emotion for a couple of different reasons. One is that it'll be annoying to other people. They don't want to assume responsibility for your emotions and for taking care of you. And the other reason is they could use that information against you. They could actually exploit you. So consider looking for a house, and the realtor is showing you around.